As the last leaves fall and the harvest ends, the air turns cold and the world seems to pause. On this night, Halloween, something ancient stirs, something we can't quite name. We light candles, we carve faces into lanterns, we hang charms in our windows and whisper old rhymes without knowing why. But in the old days, people remembered. They called it Samhain, or All Hallows' Eve, or simply the night when the dead return. And they didn't take chances. They protected their homes with strange objects, avoided certain paths, and paid close attention to cats, wind, and firelight. Because Halloween wasn't just a holiday. It was a night of thin veils, of danger, of magic. This is holiday history. Witch bottles. Our story begins beneath the floorboards, literally. In 2016, construction workers renovating an old pub in Watford, England, uncovered a sealed bottle hidden in the foundation. Inside, bent nails, shards of glass, and a mysterious liquid. It wasn't trash. It was a witch bottle, a 400-year-old attempt to ward off evil. Witch bottles first appear in the historical record in the 1500s, during a time of widespread fear. Disease, crop failure, and sudden deaths had no easy explanation. And so many turned to folk belief. Perhaps they'd been cursed by a witch. Enter the witch bottle. Made from stoneware or glass, it was filled with personal items, urine, nail clippings, and hair, alongside sharp objects like pins, needles, or rusty nails. The theory? These items created a magical trap. The witch's spell would be drawn into the bottle, stabbed by the iron, and rendered powerless. Some bottles were hidden in secret places, buried at the threshold, placed behind chimneys, or sealed inside walls. Others were burned in fires while the afflicted person watched, waiting for a pop or hiss, the supposed sign that the curse had been broken. And these weren't isolated folk traditions. Dozens of bottles have been unearthed from sites across England, Germany, and the American colonies. Some still sit undisturbed in museum collections, sealed, contents unknown. One bottle found in Virginia was shaped like a jug and dated to the early 1700s, likely brought by European settlers. It contained rusty nails and hair, clear evidence that this wasn't just a European tradition, but one that crossed the Atlantic and took root in the New World. Witch bottles remind us that Halloween's roots go deeper than decorations. They're evidence of real fear and a desperate kind of hope. Black cats, soul stealers, and ghost watchers. Let's step out of the cellar and into the firelight. There, curled near the hearth, is a creature as mysterious as Halloween itself, the black cat. To many ancient cultures, cats were protectors. In Egypt, they were sacred. In Norse mythology, Freya, the goddess of love and magic, rode a chariot pulled by two giant cats. But by the Middle Ages in Europe, that image had shifted. Black cats became symbols of witchcraft, feared and shunned. It was said that witches could transform into cats to roam unnoticed, or that they sent cats as their familiars, spying and casting spells on their behalf. In some regions, cats were burned or hanged during witch trials. In others, families believed that a cat's sudden movement or hiss meant an invisible presence had entered the room. And then there's the tale of the Ketshi, a spectral cat from Scottish and Irish folklore, set to haunt the Highlands during Samhain. This ghostly black feline with a white spot on its chest wasn't just spooky, it was dangerous. The Ketchi was said to steal souls before burial. That's why communities held late wakes, long lively gatherings full of music, dancing, and watchful eyes, so the cat couldn't slip past unnoticed. But black cats weren't just feared, they were also revered. In parts of rural England, people believed feeding your cat first on Halloween ensured protection through the winter. In Cornwall, it was good luck if a black cat followed you, so long as it didn't stop and stare. One curious superstition warned, never look into a cat's eyes at midnight on Halloween, because what you saw might not be your reflection. Today, black cats are still wrapped in myth, seen as both cursed and lucky, feared and adored. And maybe that's fitting for Halloween, a night that's never quite one thing or the other. Crossroads and spirits that wait there. Now imagine it's Halloween night. You're walking alone. The wind howls. The moon is bright. And you reach a crossroads, the kind where two old dirt roads meet, silent and still. Would you stop? In folklore, crossroads are powerful places. They appear in stories around the world as places of deals, danger, and magic. In ancient Greece, crossroads were sacred to Hecate, goddess of magic and ghosts. People left food offerings called Hecate's suppers there to appease her spirits. In medieval Europe, the crossroads became darker, a place to bury criminals or suicides. It was believed that the confusing layout would trap the soul, preventing it from finding its way back home. But on Halloween, crossroads took on a new meaning. Some believed that if you stood at a crossroads at midnight, you could meet a spirit who would answer a question. Others said you might hear whispers from the future, or even catch sight of your true love. But beware, such visions didn't come free. You had to wait in silence, often blindfolded, and risk whatever found you first. Witches were also said to gather at crossroads. A popular belief held that spells cast at a crossroads were more powerful, more likely to reach the other world. In some European towns, people would scatter salt or iron filings across the path to disrupt these rituals. And then there's the most famous crossroads tale of all, The Deal with the Devil. A story told in cultures from Germany to the American South, where a person goes to a crossroads to sell their soul in exchange for power, knowledge, or fame. Crossroads are places of choice, of transition, of standing between what was and what might be. And on Halloween night, they become something more, a meeting place of worlds. We light candles and carve pumpkins, not because we believe in spirits, but maybe because something in us still remembers. A memory passed down through generations of watching the shadows, leaving food for the dead, keeping cats close, and avoiding crossroads after dark. Witch bottles, black cats, haunted crossroads. These aren't just superstitions. They're stories, old defences against the unknown. They are how our ancestors made sense of a world filled with mystery and danger, and how we still quietly honour that mystery today. So as you celebrate Halloween, whether with costumes or candy, or just a warm drink by the fire, remember the people who came before you, and maybe leave a little something at the crossroads, just in case. If you love stories like these, strange, forgotten, and full of wonder, subscribe to Holiday History. Every season, we bring you tales of tradition, mystery, and the magic of memory. Thanks for watching, and have a very safe Halloween night.